this Orisha that I got, Olosa, is one of her messengers, one of her daughters. So that different bodies of water have different guardians, right? So a lagoon is like, you ever seen in the movies when you go to the island and there's like this little pool and it's fucking real clear? So the lagoon is so like, you ever been to Cancun? So in Cancun, they got this thing, it's a lagoon. It looks like a lake, but it's not a lake. It's a little bit, it's not as deep as a lake, right? But the gators go there. You feel me? And they hunt there. So that body of water is real important because it's a body of water where motherfuckers go and see the clearest water. It's like fresh water. You understand what I'm saying? So the lagoon is its own thing. So each one of the different waters, Oshun is not a water deity.
Earth.
She's an earth deity.
That's why I'm telling Luke, she said most of the things she was mentioning, said she had to take a bath in the river and all that stuff. So I was describing to her some of the things I heard you mention about the rivers, really, Oshun, earth deity.
It's an earth deity. If there's no crevice in the earth, there ain't no river, right? Whereas and the river is specific because it runs. Whereas you have a lake is a big body of a large body of water, right?
I mean, it's stagnant, but it's real stagnant. Just waves.
It's waves because of the wind moving it. Now, a pond is a small body of water, but in between a pond and a lake is a lagoon.
Pond's more like a big puddle.
Yeah, it's a big puddle. It might be some fish in there, might be some frogs. Right.
Dirt, but it's just
right.
grass,
A lagoon is an ecosystem. It's big enough. It's not as big as a lake, but it's a medium-sized body of water that large fish and large animals, will go there. So like you'll get frogs and turtles, gators and shit like that, right? And in the lagoon, it's always murky. You can never see into the lagoon. You understand? So you don't know what's lurking there. You don't know that there's a whole thing happening under there. And so that's so there's a separation between life and death, so that you think that you know what's going on, but underneath there's a whole lot of shit happening. Motherfuckers waiting for you. Feel me? And so the lagoon is the in between the river and the ocean, right? And so she brings the messages from the fucking ocean to the river. Feel me? She also is an Orisha that helps with your dreams, because Olokun is a representation of your subconscious, right? So they say that in the body, the Olokun is the water that surrounds your brain, whereas Yemaya is the water that surrounds the woman's womb, right? So men have Olokun with us, but we don't have Yemonjai in us like that, other than the water that's in us, right? So Olokun is like the subconscious, and the crocodile, right? The crocodile is important because he has to deal with time. So that in Egypt, ancient Egypt, they counted the crocodile's teeth, and it is coincided with the calendar. You understand? Okay. And so it has to do with time. And so the crocodile is able to go deep into your subconscious and come back up. And what it brings up is, like I said, the sediment, all of the potential, right? To get it stirred up so that everything that comes to drink from it can necessarily, you can start to distribute, because that's what the river does. It distributes the money, right? This is why there's a river bank, and it's a currency, right? Because the water controls the flow of the currency, right? Okay, and so these Orishas all become, so what happens is, in the Isheshe thing, they have this Orisha named Egbe, that they be like, oh, this has to do with your spiritual court in heaven and all that. But they somehow convoluted the Egbe thing because of the linguistics. Egbe, the word means a society. So like the Ibejis are considered Omo Egbe. There's a society of children that are born with a full head of hair, children that are born feet first, twins, child born after twins, a child born with the cord wrapped around their neck, right? These are Omo Egbe. But there's an Orisha that left Africa that came to Cuba named Egbe. And that Orisha is the Orisha of pottery. So they said that one time, all the people that worship the river deities and the ocean deities, they couldn't worship them on land. Because when you put them in the hickory, it dry up. Right? So when Egbe seduced the fire, the water, and the dirt, and the mud to come together to make the first pottery, now niggas can carry the water and the water will sustain. Now you gotta keep refreshing in the water, but it won't die. So this is when the first Olokun pot was made. So when they got to Cuba, at first they didn't have no money, so the slaves used to keep their oaches and hickories, right? And they used to have to keep putting the water in. But when the 21st century, when the 20th century came in, then they had access to these Chinese imports. So they said that all of the female Orishas that carry water are in Egbe. The pot that they're in is Egbe. They all belong to it. So now, just recently, because I got this Orisha, my Egbe is complete. My society of Yemaya is complete. It's Yembo, Yemaya, Inle Abata, Akoide Oti, Olokun Olosa. And then Orisha Oko represents the dry part, which is the foundation. It's the contrast, right? So now my Egbe is complete. So now, what that does is it changes my spiritualism. It takes it up to another level, right? Because all my water spirits is, they're all connected, right? So I have a connection because Oshun is about material wealth because she's the earth deity. But you have to be able to change the water. So like when they pan for gold, they do it in the river, right? And they sifting through it, right? Through the mud. Okay. So now, because my water society is complete, the abundance that Olokun has, it reaches to Oshun. Because them niggas are fucking complete now. So I got all the bodies of water, and I got the moon that regulates them. You understand?
You get to talk to them.
Absolutely.
Okay.
You feel me? So now, whereas I wasn't dreaming and I would only have dreams about dead people, now my dreams, they've actually been a little bit profound. I've been dreaming lately. Feel me? Because niggas tell me, oh, it's because you smoked the weed. I'm like, no, my nigga, I've been smoking weed since I was 11. What the fuck is you talking about? At a certain point, I stopped dreaming, and then I would only see dead people. Like regular dreaming, walking down the street or fucking a chick or no shit. I wouldn't have none of those. Like I wake up and I ain't had nothing happen.
But I don't remember.
Right.
A profound dream would me be running for some bullshit that I was at the club. I remember some shit like that, but
so now,
running for some shit.
Or wake up and don't remember what I dreamed about.
That's why you started spending.
So now, after you get a Olokun, at some point,
deja vu.
you can receive Olosa, and then the Olosa will help to bring the subconscious to the conscious. Feel me?
Clear.
Absolutely. Because the crocodile is very, very important. Because everybody has to drink from the river, right? This is what makes Oshun about peace. That in the forest, where the river's at,
no go zone.
Everybody, that's a no-go zone. Don't, except for the crocodile. She be in the water. Oh, you think you drinking? Take that, motherfucker. Right? So it's
I was watching there. It was a wild hogs, antelope, lions. Everybody drinking at the water hole. The crocodile's the only one eyes poked up. Just, he ain't thirsty. I'm home.
Right. I ain't never
I ain't thirsty.
I'm
home.
Yeah. You understand?
Yeah.
Right. Because I'm going to go where the water's at. You understand? So that now that shit is complete, I can feel the difference. As soon as so the shit is so crazy. I came back with the Orisha, I didn't have a pot, and I didn't have a piece that goes inside, supposed to put like an alligator piece of metal. I go to the motherfucking place, I see the pot.
If I need to get the alligator head from Miller's Monday, let me know.
Absolutely.
Okay. The one we seen in
Yeah.
Okay.
So I see we go in there, I see the pot that I want. Go in the next door, I see the little alligator piece. Boom, I come home, I put that shit in there, and I put it next to the Olokun, and that shit just changed. Like, oh, that's what they, and because this is an Orisha that I was like, yeah, I'm gonna go look for this Orisha. And Emily, was like, nah, I want you to go get this. And I was like, well, who the fuck got it? And so I remembered the old lady, so I asked her about it a while ago. She was like, oh, I got it, and she was giving me all these other reasons. And then one day she called me to do something else and was like, oh, you still want me to get it out of the Orisha? I was like, hell yeah.
Perfect time.
Bing bong. Feel me? Okay. The other thing about this Orisha is that this Orisha deals with a specific Odu. Odisa and Osadima. And Osadi, you can't be a slave. You understand? And so it talks about Olosa, where Olosa was given the lagoon because she's not a slave of Olokun, right? She's a messenger, right? But she has her own body of water, so that she's not a slave. She has her own dominion, her own kingdom. You understand? So that she's not a slave. Because in Osadima is where Ogun made the slave, right? He turned the bellows into a slave and the nigga couldn't get away. So Olosa is one of those Orishas that goes to this Odu so that you learn how to necessarily have your own kingdom. Feel me? So, this is it's a big thing, my nigga. We about to, you know what I'm saying?
What's up?
It's a big thing.
Killing me, Small.
Fuck him up! Fuck him up! Bird bitch try to play me. Heard she was talking crazy. She don't know who I be. I'm the last of the 3 JBs. What? It was 3 JBs, yeah man, it was 3 JBs. One in the penitentiary, one dead, one still in the street. Some niggas real, some niggas hold, some niggas straight fake, some niggas trained as gold, some niggas stand up, take the time, won't say shit.